Asana CEO claims that the way we work right now will soon grow less and less popular, and that it's going to change over time how we work and how we conduct ourselves and how we do business in the workplace. And he is claiming that AI will play a major role in that factor. Another leader coming at AI from a different perspective, acknowledging some of the downfalls and pitfalls of the generative AI, as well as some things that organizations that are they're doing, or some things that organizations are doing rather, that are causing stress and just unhappy workplaces. It was a really interesting article. We're going to jump right into it. This coming off of some of the other articles we've been seeing today, as various different tech leaders have been stating their opinions on AI and how it will be used. And it seems that the Asana CEO wanted to chime in. He says, as AI twists further into the public consciousness, we're starting to see dystopian stories about the future of work, predicting a kind of final victory for the Machiavellian forces of capitalism. As the most notable example, science fiction author Ted Chiang recently wondered if there is a way for AI to do something other than sharpen the knife blade of capitalism. According to Insider, employees at JP Morgan may already be suffering under that dynamic due to the company's powerful employee monitoring tools. This is something that was discussed about a year ago in 2022. JP Morgan was headlining in the news that they had such heavy monitoring tools and aspects via their AI systems and software that they were even monitoring like mouse activity for people that were working. It definitely has had a damper in employee morale, and I don't think that is necessarily tracking the best things as far as employee productivity. I'm not sure how someone would look at the types of monitoring they're having as far as like screen time, as far as time spent sitting at the desk, mouse activity, all these various things that they were tracking. I'm not sure if it's the right thing to be tracking. There's been a whole discussion around that, but the Asana CEO goes on, these stories paint a bleak picture, raising many concerns I share myself, and indeed my own worries with AI go well beyond the potential impact to work, but I believe we'll overcome them, however, and want to take a moment to consider a world where people are thriving in their jobs because of AI, not in spite of it. Instead of picturing AI controlling every moment of your focus, imagine it helping you maximize your moments of flow. Software can help you screen notifications, for example, by intelligently analyzing whether an incoming alert is both important and urgent enough to interrupt your focus. It can organically synchronize your moments of collaboration with others, evolving us past today's rigid system of recurring meetings and calendar blocks that fracture your days. Perhaps most importantly, it can encourage you to take breaks, even vacations, when you've been working too long, thus improving impact over longer cycles in addition to well-being. I think that a lot of this is potentially possible. I think that it is a very interesting point of view. Obviously, he says a grim version of the future envisions humans as interchangeable with our software counterparts, fellow cogs in the machine. But I do believe that a lot of this has to do with how employers, not employees, but employers embrace the technology and choose to use it. Obviously, the type of mindset that goes behind the monitoring systems that we're seeing, like JP Morgan using and other companies, it definitely still exists. I remember years ago I did some brief time or stint at a call center where I was actually one of the higher up level employees there, where I came in and was doing a lot of training the staff, particularly in the insurance industry. And I remember I didn't have much experience in call center type work, and I remember seeing the software system that they would use to answer the phones. If you do work in a call center, my hat's off to you, because I remember seeing how they would have to clock out and do things for restroom breaks and all this kind of stuff, and it was all tracked. And I remember some staff claiming that they would be evaluated with how many restroom breaks they took, how fast their calls were going. It just seemed very, very bleak, and it seemed like something I would never want to be a part of. And so I'm like I said, if you work in a call center, my hat's off to you. And I'm not sure if there are call centers that are more forward thinking, that are better places to work. I don't have much experience in call centers outside of that one experience, but to me, that's what pops up in my mind when I think about what JP Morgan's doing. The Asana CEO is definitely trying to paint a picture where AI could be used in a more positive light, and I do think that's absolutely possible. I do see it really being beneficial and helpful for the self-employed. We're already starting to see that a little bit more, but I think it's completely up to companies and how they embrace the tech and how they choose to use the tech, and if they embrace the tech. Clearly, there are organizations that still feel and think that things like monitoring your mouse activity is effective, and that still exists out there. And so, that's something that I would never work for a company that did that, and I don't really see the effectiveness in that. Now, obviously, if you got to do what you got to do, you got to do it. So, if I had no other choice, I would work for a company like that. So I can understand that. But I think that this is a very interesting point of view here. It says, with the ability to compile reports of your accomplishments or even assess their quality, AI can help managers better appreciate the output of their employees. That just sounds like Big Brother to me, personally. Rather than relying on quantified inputs like time spent at your desk, it can watch out for deadlines and critical paths. Like, that's something that's interesting. But once again, you also have calendars that can do things like that. There's already systems and software in place that help people stay on track. Monday.com is a good example of project management that is very, very effective, that a lot of people take advantage of. So I'm not sure what more AI can add to that process outside of having constant reminders, but automatically steering you toward the work that's most urgent. And if you do fall behind on deadlines, AI can let your manager know. They don't have to poke their nose in all the time just to catch the one time you fell behind. Yeah, but then what do you think is going to happen once the manager knows? So yeah, there's a lot there. I don't want to paint a bad light. I do see both sides. I do think that AI could be used for a positive thing. I think it adds a lot of positive stuff, the generative AI model, but in attempt to try to paint the world as less dystopian, especially this situation with AI and what people can use it, it feels as though there's an underlying factor of dystopia, layered into statements like that, like what we just read. And so what do you guys think in the comment section below? Do you think I'm missing something? I do feel like that it could add a lot of positivity, and I do feel like there are a bunch of companies out there that have healthy structures and have a healthy work environment that will implement AI, and it will be beneficial to their staff. I also feel like there's aspects of generative AI that are dangerous to children and people who don't understand how to use it and what it is. And even calling it AI is kind of a farce, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion, because I can understand that they call it AI and there's an AI aspect to it, but it's not actual, it's not actually thinking and monitoring. It's a software that's a language model, and even they've had multiple AI experts come out now and confirm that. So I'm not just speaking that out of my own limited knowledge. I'm kind of a dummy in that, but I'm reading and listening to people who are experts and acknowledged experts, and they themselves are not calling generative AI like ChatGPT true and genuine artificial intelligence. It's something different and something more, but it's impacted the world in a different way. And so I think companies like Asana and the software that Asana does is going to be able to utilize AI in a very effective way. We just read an article with Salesforce where the CEO there was discussing how they're utilizing AI and what AI will never be able to do, in their opinion. Like the CEO was very open about the AI is never going to be able to replace employees, but I'm not sure how I feel about this. He kind of ends the article on a positive note. He says, we have agency in how this future unfolds, but we can only manifest something wonderful if we also create positive visions for what's possible. A world with more breakthroughs, bigger ideas, better execution, and faster progress. A world full of happy individuals living their best lives at work. I think that that's great, but there still will be companies like JP Morgan and Chase operating the way that they are. That will always exist. So he said, when my co-founder and I started Asana, we were fueled by the power of teams. When the world's teams work together, we can do great things, the kind of things that contribute to a better life for people and planet. Customers should demand a positive version of the future. Technologists can build it. AI and humans can co-create that future. We can realize our full collective potential together. Once again, the power is in the hands of the wielder. You have a magical sword, and you can use it to slay the dragon, or you can use it to enslave the people. That's just my viewpoint on it. And there are definitely going to be companies that do one or the other, and that's always going to exist. And so, that's my thoughts on it. What are your guys' thoughts in the comment section below? Let me know what you think. Please take the time to like the video. I hope that was insightful. I hope you got something out of it. It's very interesting to see different tech leaders and different CEOs and business leaders take on how how this will impact the market, and I've enjoyed reviewing that. Let me know if you want to see more of that, and I will catch you guys in the next one.